Alright guys, today I will be doing something a bit different to what I usually do in this channel because today is the day I will be making the second review about a real life product, in contrast to the hundreds of cars I have already checked on Asphalt Lanes Unite, so it's time to have a look at the brand new gaming chair I have got from Symino as well as all the details around it. So with nothing else to add, let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, I have decided to get the classic grey version of their main gaming chair division, but if you have a look at their website, whose link you can check in the description by the way, you will be able to see that there are plenty of other models with different colors and textures, so regarding that there are multiple choices you can pick from in order to get the one that fits you the best. You can get Symino products both from Amazon or their website, so the delivery options may vary, but since the chair was sent, I got the chance to have a close look into all these steps the package went through before arriving directly to my doorstep, which was quite helpful considering how the package was delivered from Germany all the way down to Spain where I live in around 6 days, but of course, it will depend on where you live as well as from where you get the chair itself. So now let's get into the unboxing. The box was quite huge, not extremely heavy, being completely honest, and all the parts within it were quite well protected for such a trip. The base, all the seat parts as well as the wheels and all the different screws required were there, and a nice detail was the fact that inside the box there were two Allen keys according to the different heat sizes of the screws I just mentioned, so both of these Allen keys made the process of building the entire chair far more straightforward than if you use a screwdriver, mostly because of the angles in where you have to introduce some screws. Aside from that, building the chair on its own wasn't extremely complicated since there were clear explanations of each step on the guide you can find inside of the box. After having the chance to use this chair for a bit over a week, my final conclusion is that it's really comfortable and more importantly convenient, especially if you have to do long screen sessions as a result of either your job or studies, so obviously it's a huge improvement compared to my previous chair, which despite it wasn't bad itself, can't be compared with the capabilities this Symino chair has to offer. You can adjust the back angle comfortably as well as the height of the chair, and most importantly, you can also adjust the armrest height, which is nice since that way I can adjust them so it doesn't touch with my desk. But not only that, you can slightly rotate each armrest to the left or to the right, which can be helpful depending on the position of your arms. Oh, and by the way, the cloth/material that covers this chair is faux fur, this kind of cloth that if you move your hand over it in one way it looks darker, and if you move it in the opposite direction it looks clearer, which is quite nice. Now that I'm talking about the material itself, the chair main parts as well as the pillows has zippers, so I assume that if you get a specific part of the chair dirty, it will be relatively easy to remove, clean and install again. The pillows, by the way, are correctly placed, at least in my case, which is quite good given the fact that I'm 1.9 meters tall and I was slightly concerned that I would have some issues regarding this. Another quite nice detail this chair has is that it has a footrest which you can unfold in case you want to lie more horizontally, so I have tried it and it certainly works for as long as you move the back of the chair to a more open angle. At last but not least, the wheels work perfectly so far and they make close to no sound, so that definitely was an improvement when compared to my previous chair, I must admit. But now let's jump into the final conclusions. For the price this chair has, and now even more since it has a 30% discount from the Symino webpage, I would say that it's definitely worth it. Once you build it, you can appreciate that for the price you paid, it feels solid and quite comfortable with the additions of the footrest, the rotating armrest and other details I have just mentioned, making it a quite complete product as a whole. Not sure if it will make you win more often in multiplayer, but at least I can assure you that you will be quite comfortable when you play or attend online meetings. If I had to mention some cons about the products, however, one of them would be certainly the final details, which are covered in plastic, like the mechanism to adjust the back angle, but that really depends on the person though. On my case it was completely fine, but you may prefer some kind of different details. Secondly, I would mention that the delivery can give you some headaches depending on the country you live, but that's not necessarily a problem of the chair or the company itself, but rather from the delivery company. You all have the Symino webpage link on this video description, where let's remember there is an ongoing 30% discount and you can ask me any questions about the chair in the comments section. I really hope that this video was interesting to some of you guys, being a different topic than I usually post on this channel, and I will see you really soon as usual with much more asphalt content. Goodbye guys!